some of the other news going on, man, is 50 Cent was on a podcast. And he had a couple things. Well, he had a thing to say about you, man. He kind of mentioned that, when he got his $1 million deal, that you mentioned that was no money. But I also kind of looked into it and seen that, you guys have said a few things about each other in the recent history, man. Is there, what was your thoughts on that when he said that?
I was just happy he said my name. And I was able to leverage that. I felt like he was throwing me an alley-oop. 50 is a thinking man, pause, the way it looks. And when someone that has that kind of exposure says your name, if you don't leverage it and you let your emotions get involved, it's not the most masculine thing. So when he said my name, I offered him a competition. Even my fronts dropped out, gave him some jokes. And he had jokes. And at the end of the day, he gave me a shout out. He was the first person to actually say America Knew on his platform. So in this moment, I have nothing but respect, and I appreciate the alley-oop, But jokes are jokes. I'm a funny guy. He's a funny guy. As long as we don't get too personal or violate, I don't have no problem with it. That be the problem is usually people start joking with me. I'm not saying him, but my jokes be kind of funny, and I'm loud, and I like it. And your jokes don't bother me. So it usually makes people upset. And then they end up making it like I'm the bully, but you really started with me. So if you notice, I never say anyone's name unless they say mine. But if you do say mine, I'm going to leverage that to bring awareness to my independent businesses, because it's priceless for people to say your name and not have to pay for it. That's priceless to not have to be around weirdos to be seen. It's priceless to be creative as you want, work with who you want, and monetize it fairly. It's priceless. Freedom is priceless, and love. And I think that's what people need to understand. Everybody's hustling for perception and a man-made dollar. I'm not hustling for that. I'm hustling for God's love. I'm hustling so that my family could be free and that I can stay weirdo free. So I can control my environment. And I've been doing it. And everything I've been saying has realized itself in 10 times and tenfold. So anybody questioning what I do or how I do it, I just think at that point, it would be insanity to continue to question my judgment, and I'm always right 10 years ahead of time.
Yeah, man. I hear that, man. It's
Now you have to understand, I was able to get to pop culture, but I needed the help of people that I consider weirdos. I used other people's money. So the challenge for me was I made Paid in Full with the Weinsteins. Can I make my own Paid in Full with my own money? Can I write, direct it, produce it, and do everything they did? Of course I can. And I did. So that's honor up, full circle. I did it myself. I got a new album coming out with Freeway, a rock album with me on it. And that's the replacement for Rockefeller. I now have Blue Rock, but it's completely independent. I needed to know I could do it on my own. And I didn't have a television network back then, but I do now. And now I'm stimulating another vertical, my clothing. So instead of rockwear, I have CEO, which I'm wearing now, a collaboration I did with Afroletics, Anunnaki CEO. So that is stimulated independently without them. So my goal is to have my conglomerate weirdo free, fully owned by my family with no debt. And I know that people don't understand this language, but if I ever do sell, it'll be based on a multiple of EBITDA, and I won't have to pay no debt. My family will be able to walk away with all that bread. And that's what I'm hustling for. To be able to make money in anything that inspires me, in every dimension and vertical my way. And I'm willing to put my money paws where my mouth is and do it in front of everybody. But I do think it's corny, and I do think it's feminine for men to be worried about another man's pocket. I think that's crazy. I've never even heard of that. That's bananas.
okay. Now you mentioned doing it all on your own. I mean, how hard has that been, to do? And a lot of people, a lot of people still partner with other people. You seem
Wait,
like you
get
don't
it
want
twisted.
any partners.
I'm not saying you do it on alone. It's doing it with your own money. But I have partners, but it's equal. I'm not like getting paid in advance and licensed and been giving my master to somebody and been getting points, licensing back my own art. I definitely like I'm Honor Up is going to be on BET. That's 70 million homes. I can't do that on my own unless I acquire another network for their balance sheet and their footprint, and that's been difficult. So you do need partners, but that's it. One thing is partners. One thing is somebody give you the money and you work for them. One thing is someone loan you the money, but they have 10 turns on the debt, so you can never get in front of it. Business is different. There's different ways to approach it. The traditional way is we look like we have more than we do. We give a middleman our culture, and they give it back to us, and we end up not owning it, and our families have to start all over again. So I'm first generation. My daughter and my kids should not have to go through the same things I went through, and neither should theirs. I'm hustling this hard so that my grandchildren don't have to work. Not for me. The things I'm doing, I love. So, of course, when you say difficult, if you have no motion, pause, then yeah, shit is difficult. If you're not inspired, if you're not good at anything, I just happen to be good at designing, directing. I could jump on a stage with a band, and I have good ears for music, and I could be articulate. I have curriculums. I'm just good at all those things. So everything I'm good at that I love, I turn that into something I can monetize so it never feels like work. So the work part's not hard. The problem is when you dream so big that the money comes in, can't cover everything you want to do. And then when you get the money, you got to put it back in, pause, but you don't have any room for growth. But, this is boss thoughts. This is general thoughts. You got to want this life. And I love it. I don't know it any other way.
I hear you. I own my own stuff. It's rough. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of extra work.
What do you think is rougher? Waiting a table and working for tips on Christmas, or worrying about a bill because it's late? Because of these, the way traditionally they make you worry about your credit. None of that shit matters. You got cash, you all right. You can get out of anything, and, as long as you don't go more than 3 or 4 months, you good. You just got to get back at it. You have to visualize what you want. But what people call rough, worry is not rough. It's not a physical thing. To be concerned takes no physical work, but it drains you. So the thing is, how tough is it not to worry about nothing? That shit is easy to me because I can't even visualize anything but a W. And I love the fight it takes to get there because it means I'm learning. No losses, learning experiences.
What's up? This is Cam Capone. We got more content like this coming soon. So hit that like button, subscribe, and stay locked in to Cam Capone News.